Good evening, I'm David Brown, and this is the Northern Sun Experience. After a cutthroat Central Region volleyball tournament last week, Wayne State, the 7 seed, emerged as champions in the 8-team bracket. And as the lone remaining NSIC team in the postseason, the Wildcats needed just 3 more wins to take home the national championship. They started that journey at the Elite 8 in Tampa, Florida, where they would face Carson Newman, the Southeast Region champs from Tennessee, and the Wildcats would pass their first test. They topped the Eagles 3-1 on Thursday. Alyssa Fraundorfer led Wayne State with 19 kills, while Lysa McClintock had 48 assists. So the Wildcats advanced to the Final Four, where they'd take on the South Region champions Palm Beach Atlantic. McClintock had another huge game with 33 assists, but it would not be enough as the Sailfish sweep the Wildcats 3-0. But congrats to Wayne State on another successful season. And more congrats go to former Concordia St. Paul defensive end Hank Goff. Last week, Goff was awarded the 2015 Disney Sports Spirit Award in Atlanta. The award is given annually to the most inspiring college football player. After one season at South Dakota State in 2005, Goff dropped out of school and eventually joined the Marines, serving as a machine gunner overseas in Afghanistan. Goff returned to football in 2013 with Concordia St. Paul and just finished out his 3 remaining years of eligibility. When we come back, it's Jordan time. Our Midco basketball analyst Jordan Dalton joins me to discuss the latest in men's and women's NSIC hoops.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience, and we're very happy for the second season to be joined by Mr. Jordan Dalton, former Augustana point guard. And Jordan, once again, we got to run through your resume real quick. 2006 to 2010, 4 years at Augustana. You led the Vikings in assists in both your junior and senior seasons. You started every game your senior season, led the entire conference in steals, second in the conference in assist to turnover ratio, third in the conference in assists your senior season. So Tom Billiter knew what he had, didn't he?
Well, if you ask him, he'll talk about the one bad game I had at Concordia St. Paul my senior year. But I love Coach B, love Augie, obviously, and just great to be back. So. Well,
thank you very much again for joining us. And we're going to start this segment with your alma mater, Augustana, obviously doing a lot better maybe than when you were playing. But they lead the conference in points per game, 91 points per game. That's 8 better than second place. Why is your alma mater so good offensively?
Yeah, I think they're so good offensively because they're so dynamic on the offensive end. You know, they have great inside and outside presence. You have Jansen and Schilling down low who can post up virtually anybody. They're big, strong, athletic guys down low. But then they also, at any point in time, can put 5 guys on the perimeter that can make 3-point shots. And so that's really tough, and it's really tough on the opposing team because it's like, what are you going to take away? If you decide to double the bigs in the post, well, now they got 4 guys around them that can knock down 3-pointers. But if you leave Jansen one-on-one down low, he's shown he can get 25, 30 points a game. And I think that's the biggest reason, that they've had so much success on the offensive end. And they got 5 guys who've made 10 3-pointers or more on the season. And so they have so many weapons that it's almost like pick your poison. Whatever the defense is going to give us, we're able to take away. And they've done a great job of exploiting basically any weakness the defense presented this year.
And, of course, a big point that we pointed out last season that makes its point this season, they have everyone back from last season.
Yep, and that type of chemistry, we talk about it all the time. Chemistry is tough, and it takes time. And when you have 3 seniors, and like I said, and Schilling, Richter, and Jansen up front, they really lead the charge. They set the tone, not only in the games, but also in practice. They had a sour taste in their mouth the way the season ended last year, a little earlier than they wanted it to. And so they've really come back here on a mission with one goal, and that's win a national championship.
Well, you mentioned the loss that they had last year that ended their season. That was in the Central Region Tournament. The team that won it was Minnesota State Moorhead. They made it to the Elite 8. They lost in the Elite 8, but still they had a better season last year. They've won 12 in a row as of right now. So how are the Dragons keeping pace with last year, especially since leading scorer Jordan Reaver graduated?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff, Chad Walthall, has done a great job of playing through their best player, which is Isaac Sievely. He's a beast. He's a low down low, averaging the league best 21 points a game and 8 rebounds. And so he's really tough to contain down low, but what he does, he also establishes an inside presence. And so they play through him. He does a great job of getting to the free throw line. He shot 20 more free throws than anybody else in the conference. And so when you have that type of weapon in the paint, everybody else kind of feeds off of them. That, and also they're one of the most efficient teams in the league. Have one of the best assist to turnover ratios only averaging about less than 10 turnovers a game. And so when you combine that type of inside presence with the efficiency they're playing with on the perimeter, they're really, really tough on the offensive end. And we talked about a lot last year. That puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense to not only get stops, but get stops consistently as well.
Yeah, Dragons and Vikings, obviously the two top teams right now. Minnesota State was a consistent number 3 last season, but they lost a lot of scoring. Zach Monahan seemed like he was there for 8 years. He graduated. Asim Marai graduated. But as of now, the Mavs have only lost 1 game in the NSIC. So how have they been able to sort of rebuild this year?
Yeah, I think they've done it with a combination, to be honest with you. Some guys that were there last year, Mike Busak and TJ Lake, great perimeter shooters. You know, both of them have over 20 made three-pointers this season. And so they've really taken advantage of those additional shot opportunities that are there, which is talking about the departure of so much scoring last year. But Minnesota State Mankato, traditionally has brought in great transfer players, and nothing's different this year. You know, Jalen Pendleton and John Fuqua, those guys are big, strong, athletic guards that make a living in the paint right now. And so they're doing a great job. They play a lot of 5-out dribble motion type options, and it's really tough for a big fella, you know, if he's 6'9", 6'10", to get out there on the perimeter and try to guard some of these quick athletic guards. And not to mention, we talked about the way they can shoot the ball from down low, or from the three-point line, And so they've done a great job of, like you said, kind of rebranding and putting a different presence, or putting a different fingerprint on the game this year.
Well, Minnesota State Mankato has been a bit of a surprise this year, but what team, in your opinion, has been the biggest surprise on the men's side so far?
Yeah, you have to look at University of Mary. You know, they were picked to finish 14th in the league, and right now they're 4-1. And so that just shows you preseason rankings go out the window when you throw the ball up in the air. And that type of ranking, when you see those preseason rankings, that lights a fire under guys, and that really gets teams going. And so they've done a great job of coming together and just playing hard. And when you talk about being number 3 in the conference right now, they're behind 2 top 5 teams in the country. And so being number 3 in this conference isn't a bad deal.
And subsequently, what's a team that maybe, I know it's early, but maybe gotten off to a bit of a slower start than you expected?
And like you said, it's early, so you don't want to hit the panic button. But St. Cloud, you know, they already have 3 conference losses this season. And so you look at a team like St. Cloud, who was picked to do pretty well, you know, in the preseason rankings, haven't really got off to the start they wanted to. But maybe that's a wake-up call for them to really dig deeper and try to figure out, you know, what team do they want to be. I always say adversity kind of reveals some character. And so you have a couple tough losses in this early part of the season. Kind of let you know, all right, maybe we do need to go back to the drawing board and get back after it. So I expect them to have a big second half of the season.
All right, Jordan, well, thanks for your analysis on the men's side. When we come back, Mr. Dalton's going to break down the weekend that was in women's NSIC hoops.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
And welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. Once again, joined by Jordan Dalton, former Augustana point guard. We're going to break down some women's hoops now. Number 1 team in the conference right now is Winona State. They're undefeated at 12-0, number 1 in scoring offense, number 1 in scoring defense. Basically, why are they firing on all cylinders right now?
A lot of number 1s there, but I think they do a great job of having just playing with chemistry. We talked about it earlier. You know, they average over 16 assists per game, and so that's a team that is unselfish. They don't care who gets a shot. They just want to take a good shot, and they've done so all season long, just shooting shy of 50% from the field. And so not only do they understand each other's or their own strengths, they understand each other's strengths as well, because they're putting their teammates in positions to score in places that they're going to be successful. And on the other end, you talk about number 1 in defense. You know, they're only giving up, our opponents are only shooting 34% from the field against them. And so they're doing a great job of being committed as far as pressuring the basketball, making teams take tough, contested jump shots, and then closing out each possession with a rebound.
And it seems like they're great both inside and outside. Inside, you got Kayla Timmerman, and then outside, you got girls who can shoot threes like Connor Nagel and Tara Roloffs.
Absolutely, and we just talked about it. It's tough when you have an inside-outside presence because as a coaching staff, you don't know what to take away. You know, traditionally, you always say, hey, on the offensive end, we want to play from inside out. And so if you shut down the paint, but the way these girls shoot the basketball from the three-point line, it's really, really tough because sometimes that's like a layup to them, a wide-open three-pointer as much as they've practiced it. And then, like I said, the great chemistry they have, you know, passing the ball and making solid passes on time, on target, just knocking them in the shooting pocket, which is evident, like I said, by the way they've been shooting the ball this season.
Well, the consistent number 2 so far, the team right behind the Warriors, is Sioux Falls. They're 10-1 on the season right now. Only loss was to Winona State, and they got blasted pretty hard by more than 30 points. They had a close game against UMary on Saturday. UMary's not the greatest team, kind of judged to be middle of the pack in the preseason. So does a close game like that help or hurt a team like Sioux Falls who's expected expected to be near the top?
I think anytime you have a close game, whether it's at the beginning of the season or end of the season, it's great for the coaching staff more than anything, because what it does, it builds trust. Coach Trapp-Hagan then understands who he can have in the game in crunch time to not only execute on the offensive end, but on the defensive end as well. And so I love those type of close, hard-fought games, especially in the beginning of the year, because it gives you a little bit of adversity to battle through. And I think Coach Trapp-Hagan, what he found out is he's got a stud in Taylor Varsho. She dropped 30 on Friday night this past weekend, and has been the NSIC Player of the Week twice already. And so she's one of those players that plays a lot of energy. She has some chaotic plays at times, but you live with that because of what she can do on the offensive end. And credit to Coach Trapp-Hagan and his staff for giving her the freedom to play like that, because like I said, she's going to have a couple bad plays, as is everybody else, but the things that she can do on a positive manner greatly outweigh those.
I remember you and I had a joke a couple of years ago. We were calling a Minnesota State game that Zach Monahan's range is basically from half court in.
There you go.
Seems like it's the same way for Taylor Varsho.
Absolutely, and when you have that type of offensive weapon on the team, it's tough, because as a defense, you never know where she's going to pull up from. And like I said, she shoots it with confidence and the freedom that she knows, okay, if I miss this shot, it's not like I'm looking over my shoulder to see if I'm coming out. And so when you have a talented player playing with that type of confidence and freedom on the defense, you're always on your heels kind of thinking, what is she going to do next?
Well, a team that a lot of people were curious about was Northern State. They were last year's conference tournament champions, but they lost a ton of great players. Right now, they're still 7-3, pretty good, but their defense, of course, was the staple last season. It was a record-setting defense, held teams to about 51 points per game. So right now, how is Northern State doing it right now, being able to maintain a 7-3 record?
Yeah, I think they're doing it now the way they have always done, and controlling the pace of the game. We talked about it last year. It's always going to be a half-court, low-possession type game with Northern State, and nothing's changed this year. They're still doing a great job of running their sets and being efficient in their sets as well. They're shooting 42.5% from the field this year, so not only are they running their sets, but they're also executing them to a T as well. And what they also do is, when they shrink the game like that, as far as limiting the possessions, each possession becomes golden. And so on the defensive end, they lock down, they hunker in on the defensive end and limit teams to one shot. And so when you force teams to play with that type of efficiency on the offensive end, it's very tough, because you just played 30 seconds on the defensive end and hard fought, and kind of your adrenaline's going. You want to get down on the offensive end and maybe put the ball in the basket a little bit faster, take some quicker shots, and you're only getting one shot at the rim at the offensive end when you're playing against Northern. And so they're doing a great job controlling tempo, limiting teams to one shot, and still, like I said, doing it the same way they've done it really in the past.
Yeah, Kurt Fredrickson basically has a style, and he's going to make sure that his girls implement it.
Absolutely.
Well, these are the same two questions I asked in the men's segment. What team so far on the women's side has been the biggest surprise?
Yeah, I really love what Minnesota State University Moorhead are doing. They had two close games this past weekend, one in overtime, and then also a one-point game. And so right now, they're 4-1 in conference, and have really shown that they're going to be a tough team to contend with. Maybe some of what they're doing on the men's side is rubbing off a little bit there.
And then conversely, what's a team that's gotten off to maybe a bit of a slower start?
Yeah, we talked about this team a little bit before the show. Wayne State, they were picked to finish second in the conference this year. Right now they're 2-3 after dropping 2 in a row to Bemidji and Crookston. And so that's really kind of a shock to the system when you had the type of consistency that Wayne State's had. Last 2, 3, 4 years, they've always been top of the league. And so right now, they just don't seem to be clicking on all cylinders. And once again, it's a great time in the early part of the year to kind of reevaluate, hey, what type of team do we want to be? And I think that's kind of what they're struggling with as far as that team identity. Maybe a couple of losses will wake them up and light a fire under them.
It's good to talk basketball again, isn't it?
It's awesome. I always say this is the best time of year. You're able to see kind of what kids have put in work in the offseason. And I think that's the best part. We see what they do on Friday and Saturday nights, but all it is a compilation of what they've done, the work they've put in, not only the players but the coaching staff. It's not a more favorite time of the year for me.
All right, thank you very much, Jordan. We'll look forward to your analysis each and every week. Well, when we come back, we go under the Northern Sun at Southwest Minnesota State University.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. It's time to shine the spotlight on one of our member schools with a feature we like to call Under the Northern Sun. Tonight, it's Southwest Minnesota State University, where community atmosphere fosters relationships both inside and outside the classroom.
Southwest Minnesota State University, located in Marshall, opened its doors in 1967 and offers 50 majors, 48 minors, as well as pre-professional programs, master's degrees, and distance learning opportunities. Since opening, the university has a profound effect on the region. SMSU plays a big role in the region's economy, with an economic impact of over $140 million. Personal attention is what sets SMSU apart. With a 16-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, students receive the individual attention they desire as they pursue their academic goals.
One of the things I tell students all the time, because I see it all the time, is the beauty of our size and our makeup and who we are as a community. We're just the perfect size where students can know their faculty members, know their staff members, work with them very, very closely, where they can be involved in campus, in their sport, in other activities. They can really be part of a family.
Our professors know us by name. It's easy to talk to them. They know you personally, and going up to their office is just a regular visit. It's not anything out of the blue, so it's just easy to talk to them, and it makes it easier for classrooms.
Having those smaller class sizes, and our teachers not having to deal with, so many students, I feel like that enables them to get more connected with the students. And I feel like that plays a huge part in a lot of our students' success in college, just building those relationships with their professors.
The campus has been transformed in recent years, with over $150 million of construction, renovations, and improvements, including a new student center, a renovated library and science labs, the Marshall Regional Track and Field Complex, and the Schwann Regional Event Center. SMSU is proud of its rich tradition in intercollegiate athletics. The university offers 17 sports, including 7 men's sports, 9 women's sports, and 1 co-ed. Mustang teams have won more than 60 conference championships, 3 NCAA regional championships, 3 wheelchair basketball national titles, and 1 NCAA volleyball national runner-up finish. More impressive than the on-field accomplishments for SMSU student athletes is the success off the field of play and their work in the community. Mustang student athletes have posted athletic department record highs for GPA in recent years and are actively involved in numerous civic engagement projects.
Going out for our rake-a-thon, our work-a-thon, just helping people, they never expected, and just being able to help them out like that, it just warms our hearts and it warms their hearts, and it's just a great thing to be able to do something for someone else.
SMSU Athletics has been honored 6 times for the NCAA Community Engagement Award of Excellence, including the annual Smokefest and Egg Bowl.
Civic engagement as a whole has been an extremely important part of the success of our department, and I truly believe that the coaches and student athletes' impact in the community has directly impacted our department from a fundraising standpoint and in a number of ways. Corporate sponsorships have been up over the last couple of years, as well as the attendance at our events. And I think those things are crucial in the success of our department, and I truly give our coaches and our student athletes a lot of credit for that success.
Another award-winning program is Mustang Mail, where Mustang student athletes interact with local elementary students through a pen pal program and also reading to the students at their schools.
It's just nice seeing everyone that supports us and that we can support them as well. We got to meet our little pen pals, and it was just a blast. They were having fun. I mean, it was nice getting to know them and how they knew me and everyone else at a personal level, because we've communicated.
Mustang Athletics, combining academic, community involvement, and student athlete excellence. Southwest Minnesota State University, where you belong.
When we come back, it's DB's Picks, my top 5 plays of the past week in the NSIC.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back. It's time for DB's Picks, my top 5 plays or moments of the past week in the NSIC. At number 5, John Sabaski splits the D. The Concordia sophomore makes his way between Winona State defenders and hits the short floater in the lane. Here it is again. The high pick and roll leaves just a tiny crack for Sabaski to escape, and he does just that for play number 5. At number 4, we finished with a team that ended its run in the Final Four. Wayne State's volleyball team won its Elite Eight matchup, but fell in the semifinals to Palm Beach Atlantic. Nevertheless, a wonderful season for Scott Kneifel and company, the most successful campaign in Wayne State history. A tip of the cap to the Wildcats at number 4. For number 3, Mac does it all. Off the steal, USF's Mac Johnson works the give and go with Jordan Stott's to perfection for the lay-in. Take another look, the junior doing it at both ends for USF, stealing the outlet and then creating the easy bucket. I have a feeling we'll see Mac come back later in the countdown. For number 2, the biggest dragon takes flight. Isaac Sievely posts up and soars over St. Cloud State for the one-handed flush. Check it out from another angle. Sievely feels the incoming pressure from the double team and moves toward open space for the throwdown. Sievely's slam is number 2. But our number 1 play is the return of the Mac. Sioux Falls' Mac Johnson misses on his first try but connects on his second, nailing this last-second three-pointer against Minot State in overtime. Here it is again, down by 2. Matt goes for the win and misses, but the ricochet gets it right back out and he doesn't miss twice. That gave the Coup a 1-point overtime win over the Beavers, as well as the number 1 play of the past week. Once again, a thank you to all of our NSIC member schools for their time and contributions. We're taking a holiday break, but we'll be back in 3 weeks to start the new year on Wednesday, January 6th with yet another Northern Sun Experience.